Alan, we're seeing what many are calling an unprecedented escalation in anti-corruption enforcement in China's healthcare industry. China launched a sweeping national campaign against healthcare corruption in the middle of 2023. That campaign has gained new momentum in 2024-25. Can you walk us through the key enforcement trends that you've been observing?
China's anti-corruption efforts have expanded in scope and coordination since 2023. Authorities filed over 52,000 cases nationwide in 2024 and reflecting the strengthened enforcement intensity. And cross-agency collaboration among 14 different national bodies and also nearly 500 senior healthcare figures has been prosecuted in 2023. All these actions prioritizing the safeguarding public healthcare fund and the institutional integrity.
This brings us to a significant regulatory milestone. The State Administration for Market Regulation, the SAMR, has released the compliance guidelines for healthcare companies to prevent commercial bribery risks in January. Alan, these are being hailed as the first comprehensive anti-corruption guidelines that China has specifically for the healthcare industry. What can you tell us about it?
The SAMR guidelines define risk management for 9 high-impact scenarios, including the clinical studies, retail partnership, and etc. All these guidelines reduce ambiguity in enforcement, although some terms like rationality and necessity for expenses, such like the grants and sponsorships, still requires careful interpretation.
Finally, let's talk about the business impact and adaptation strategies. Alan, how are companies supposed to restructure their operations fundamentally to comply with these new realities?
Apparently, to address the change I just mentioned, the company should proactively to align all those landscape changes. Firstly, to proactive compliance. It is important to integrate the risk management into all the daily operations through a robust governance, third-party audits, and all the other manners. And secondly, localized execution. It is advisable to align with the regional priorities, for instance, the combating against the medical insurance fraud. And lastly, all the strategic adaptation. Companies should move beyond just paper compliance to embedded compliance into the day-to-day operations. So as a conclusion, China's anti-corruption measures reflect deep commitment to integrity. By clarifying compliance expectations and supporting the legitimate activities, all these reforms reinforce the foundations for a more transparent healthcare ecosystem. Our role is to translate the guidelines into operational resilience. In other words, to turn the compliance into sustained market confidence to China healthcare industries.